Maharashtra political crisis is hitting its second week. Not good for the people of the state as also for India. Given the financial capital of the country, Mumbai is also the state capital. With the two sides digging in their heels and a period of uncertainty looming large, two important developments happened today. One more minister in the Uddhav government, Uddhav, scooted to Guwahati, and the rebel camp has filed a petition in the Supreme Court demanding rejection of the Deputy Speaker's action in removing Eknath Shinde as the legislature party leader. Both indicate towards scales winning in favor of the rebels perhaps, rather than the Thakres. Let's do some crystal ball gazing tonight ahead of what is likely to be a hot political week for Maharashtra after this short report.
The battle between the Shiv Sena factions is getting hotter by the day.
या 40 आमदारांच्या बॉड्या इथे येतील त्याला डायरेक्ट सभागृहात पोस्टमॉर्टम मध्ये पाठवू.
The battle is for the legacy of Shiv Sena.
पण काय म्हणतात तिथून की आम्हीच शिवसेना, आमचाच गट, आमचंच धनुष्यबाण, आम्हीच राहणार, आम्ही शिवसेना बाळासाहेब ठाकरे. ओ त्या नावाची तुम्ही लावण्याची लायकी असती तुमची तर बंड करायला तुम्ही सुरतमध्ये पळाला असतात.
आता जर पाहायला गेलं आम्ही समजा 3-3 वेळेचे आमदार आहोत, परंतु आमच्या जोडीचे आमदार मागच्या वेळेला काही पडले. ते पडल्यानंतर आपलं सरकार आलं, आपले मुख्यमंत्री बसले. आपल्या मुख्यमंत्र्यांनी कधीतरी ह्या पडलेल्या आमदारांची एक जनरल जाहीर मीटिंग घेतले, सभा घेतली आणि त्यांना मार्गदर्शन केलंय. जे आमचे काय मित्रमंडळी होते पहिल्या सभागृहामध्ये जे पडलेत त्यांना आम्ही जेव्हा विचारतो बोले सेठ आम्हाला कोणच काय विचारत नाही, आम्हाला 1 रुपयाचा निधी दिला जात नाहीये, आम्ही पुढे कशी वाटचाल करायची.
But even as the Uddhav Thackeray faction puts up a strong face, Eknath Shinde welcomed the 9th minister into his camp. While one side has made it clear that legal action is coming,
every one of you know that what is happening, political turbulence is going on in Maharashtra, and in that case many of the people who have defected the party have gone are staying in Assam. So therefore we have initiated legal action against them.
The Shinde camp moved Supreme Court. A petition has been filed over the removal of Eknath Shinde as the leader of Shiv Sena Legislative Assembly and appointed Ajay Chaudhary as the leader of Shiv Sena MLA and Sunil Prabhu as the whip chief. The petition also mentioned the rejection of a no confidence motion that was filed by Shinde camp against Deputy Speaker Narhari Jalwal. The petition also seeks that there should be no action that should be initiated against the rebel MLAs until the Supreme Court gives its verdict.
so amidst mega meetings and protests and counter-protests, who has the edge in the courts of law and the courts of public opinion? Let's debate.
Joining me, Xavier Rodriguez, Chief Editor, Goa Chronicle, and of course of the BJP, live from Goa. Swapnil Kothari, Senior Legal Mind, live from Mumbai. Dr. Seema Malik, National Spokesperson of the NCP, joining us live from Delhi. And Yogi Gade, Political Analyst, leans towards Shiv Sena, live from Ahmednagar. Let me begin with Yogi first. You know, I was hearing Aditya Thackeray and he seems to be more concerned about retaining the bow and arrow symbol than his ministers who are scooting one a day. Today also, one minister has gone to Guwahati joining the rebel ranks, leaving the MVA with loan. Aditya Thackeray as the minister apart from Chief Minister, of course.
Yes, am I audible? Hello?
Yes, please go ahead.
Am I audible, sir? Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, please go ahead. If you got my question, I was asking. Yes, I can hear you.
Actually,
if you are able to hear me, Yogi Gade.
Yes, I am answering to your question, sir. Mr. Aditya Ji Thackeray has told about the bow and arrow symbol. As far as law, if you have concerned, the political, the gut as the group of leaders of the MLAs is for the Legislative Assembly. So I think by law, if you go to see, the party symbol remains with the party only, because these MLAs by law are just for the assembly elections, right? So that is number one case. And
but why not why not focus on retaining the MLAs? Why not focus on retaining the MLAs? Your minister Despite all the
focused, sir, on-
speeches made by
they have-
Uddhav Thackeray, Aditya Thackeray,
They have focused.
ministers
They
are
have
still leaving.
they have told them come here and talk to us. Firstly, all these MLAs are elected members of Maharashtra. They should have been in Maharashtra. People are going through so many problems. For so many days, they are in Gujarat, then in Assam. They should be concerned for the people over here also. All these political movements was possible to be handled from Maharashtra also. But what was the need to go so far? And if you go to see one more point, most of these MLAs have, so many of them have got ED notices by the central agencies. So once they have got ED notices by the central
Well,
agencies.
we don't know which of the MLAs.
Why?
No. But that's a different issue.
No. You have reported on your channel also.
BJP answer that. Savio, would you want to answer that? These MLAs have gone to Assam. These MLAs. Oh, I'm helping you, Yogi Agade. I'm helping you.
Okay.
Savio, according to Yogi Agade, this rebellion has happened because ED was after some of the MLAs. Please answer.
Abhishek, I was talking to a few people connected to the rebel MLAs itself, and I'll tell you what I understand, because personally this has got nothing to do with BJP. I'll tell you what it really is. You have a set of people who were tigers, okay, who then believed, and this is not my opinion, this is what they were telling me. They were tigers who then suddenly became pussycats. So those who wanted to continue to remain tigers and stay on as tigers decided to rebel. So really what is happening is a fight between the same family of felines. This has got nothing to do with BJP in the first place. Yes, they went to Assam. So
I can clearly see you are shooting from somebody else's shoulder. I can clearly see you are shooting from somebody else's shoulder. But let me lean in. Let me lean in on Swapnil Kothari. Swapnil, thank you so much for
asking.
Thank you.
Can I answer this?
This is a fight between a
somebody's
pussycat
shoulder.
and a tiger.
I will come to you, Yogi Gade. Let me just get in.
Yes.
Swapnil Kothari. Swapnil, thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us in between your dinner on a Sunday evening. But Uddhav Sena with 16 MLAs, they have the chief minister. Eknath Shinde with 39 MLAs is sitting in Guwahati. NCP with 53 legislators has deputy speaker in a very crucial post. It's going to have a lot of consequences for events as they pan out over the next week. And the BJP with 106 MLAs sits in opposition. Where do you see this legal wrangle going? By when should we be having a floor test? Essentially, the crux of it is everything has to be decided on the floor of the House. When are we going to see that?
Abhishek, that's a fantastic question. First of all, what I see is that tomorrow when the Supreme Court hears this matter, it is going to first decide whether the appointment of the Speaker, as it were, of the Deputy Speaker, Mr. Ajay Chaudhary, is legal or not. That is, whether Shiv Sena, as it originally stood, and as it now stands, without some majority, obviously it has got some 12, 13 MLAs with itself, can it appoint a Deputy Speaker? And if that is the case, if yes, then obviously the Supreme Court cannot tell the Deputy Speaker not to decide upon the disqualification notice. The decision of the Deputy Speaker can be anything. It can be, no, they are not disqualified, they are fine. Or it can be alternatively, no, yes, they are disqualified. In which case, these rebel MLAs will go before the Supreme Court again and say that, look, our disqualification is illegal. Here we are, all 37 here. The anti-defection law does not apply to us as per the 91st Amendment, which talked about the 2/3 majority, and we are legal, and the Supreme Court will have to reinstate that and say that the disqualification by the Speaker was illegal. If the Supreme Court comes to a conclusion that the Speaker's appointment itself was illegal, then the question does not arise of the Deputy Speaker passing any judgment on that disqualification notice at all. Now, to answer your question as to when do we actually see the floor test coming through, once this disqualification aspect gets out of the way, this hurdle, which I don't see a prolonged legal battle, this has to be one way or the other. Tomorrow the court is hearing. Either way, I think it should be over within I think the week at best, because these people will immediately move should the Speaker decide against them if he is appointed as a legal person. Then I think it should be done within a week at best, 7 days, 8 days at best. Then we have to see the floor test, because without the floor test, the government cannot be formed and this government cannot continue in abeyance. You cannot hold the Constitution at ransom, because it's a and any state, why the most financial capital, why the most important state of the country? You have to let the Constitution play its role. The governor has the discretionary power to tell Mr. Uddhav Thackeray that yes, that you're keeping the bow and arrow is absolutely perfect. You're keeping the name is absolutely fine according to us, but at the same time, you have to prove your numbers. So let's have the floor test done. And this is how the floor test is going to pan out eventually. If the Shinde camp can prove 39 people or 40 people as buffer, they might be wanting to have 2 or 3. Then they are in a good chance to win this battle. But if they are not, then obviously, Mr. Uddhav Thackeray stands to win.
Swapnil, there seem to be 2 proceedings parallelly happening. One is the contention between the government and the rebels about who's the legislature party leader, who's the chief whip, because of which the petition is there in the Supreme Court to be heard tomorrow. There is another proceeding where the deputy speaker is to decide about the disqualification of MLAs. Dr. Seema Malik, please tell us, what's with this magic number of 16? How does it help the Agadi government? And also, why is the deputy speaker not giving adequate time for the legislators to respond? Also, why cannot it be done via video conference as suggested by the rebels?
See, why these rebels are not coming out, I don't know. That these lions, the big people, why they are hiding, in Guwahati, I don't know. This is not the behavior of a lion, First of all, I will say this. And see, there are certain things, we are no one to decide that whether they have 16 or whether they have 37. This will be decided on the floor of the House only. And they will have to come here and, show their numbers. Just
Sanjay Raut has said in a soundbite before media that they only have 16 legislators.
This is not going to work at all. This is a fact. And see, let me speak something. See, and we cannot ignore the the statement of the Nitin Deshmukh ji also. And the allegations of this kidnapping and all these things are there. You have to clear all these things. They will have to come to the Maharashtra and they will have to show their strength on the the floor of the House. There is no point in discussing all these things on the television and just we have 37, 39, somebody is saying 34 or whatever it is. And the fact remains that they will, like, the merger is very important, as we all know now. I'm not a lawyer, but even I know this thing. And then you're talking about this thing, about our deputy speaker. So he has got the full authority and everything. But then the people who are writing letter to him, this is something very important. That in what capacity they are writing letter to him? They are not a registered party. They are not a head of a something political party or a constitutional party. So we are going to fight this thing politically and legally.
Right.
There is no point in
Miss Malik, one of the rebel MLA Sada Sarwankar is in fact joining us over the phone from Guwahati. Let me just speak to Sada Sarwankar. He is a rebel MLA in Guwahati as of now. Sada Sarwankar ji, यहाँ पे जो शिवसेना लीनिंग हमारे एक गेस्ट हैं पॉलिटिकल एनालिस्ट योगी गाडे, वो कह रहे हैं कि आप जो गुवाहाटी गए हैं वो इसलिए गए हैं क्योंकि आप लोगों के ऊपर एनफोर्समेंट डायरेक्टरेट का प्रेशर था, ईडी का कुछ इन्वेस्टिगेशन चल रहा था, इसलिए सब लोग आप गुवाहाटी चले गए हो उद्धव ठाकरे से रिबेल करके। बताएं क्यों गए हैं आप?
हमारे पास कोई ईडी बड़ी कुछ नहीं है। हम लोग एक सामान्य फैमिली में काम करते हैं, रहते हैं, और हमारे यहाँ जो मतदाता है जिन्होंने हमको चुन के दिया, उनकी जो बड़ी बड़ी समस्या है वो हल नहीं हो रही है, इसलिए यार बड़े साहब का सम्मान नहीं हो रहा है। इसलिए हम लोग ये जो अभी नया डिसीजन लिया है शिंदे साहब ने, उनके साथ हम लोग अभी चले आए। हेलो
योगी गाडे जी, देखिए वो एमएलए हैं, ही इज सेइंग दैट they are not in Guwahati because of enforcement directorate. They have no money to attract ED attention, but because in the Agadi government their works were not getting done. Please respond to him.
MLAs है जैसे सरनायक जी है और बहुत सारे जिनको ईडी नोटिस आई है वो उधर है। और दूसरी बात ये है कि अगर इतने 2.5 years क्यों लगे आपको ये पहचानने में
तो एक दो होना चाहिए था। Why 39? Why has Uttam Samant why has Uttam Sawant gone to Guwahati today after 3 speeches? Uday Sawant, I beg your pardon. Uday Sawant has gone to Guwahati today after 3 speeches by Uddhav Thackeray, at least 3 speeches by Aditya Thackeray, and at least half a dozen threats by Sanjay Raut.
Yes, sir. If you go to see, every day one, two MLAs are going there. But the main test lies on the floor of the assembly. So we never know what is going to happen once all MLAs are brought here. Why are they kept so far away? That is number one question. And if they have the numbers, they should have moved the floor of the house by now. Okay, no, there should be have been a no confidence motion at least moved. And it is also one thing suspicious. How come every day 1-2 MLAs easily are going there? So you never know. 15-20 MLAs may switch sides once they come back also.
Let's Let's again ask Sada Sarwarkar. Sada Sarwarkar जी, ये जो शिवसेना के हमारे साथी हैं, वो अभी भी यही कह रहे हैं कि आप लोगों को ईडी तंग कर रही थी. आपको कौन तंग कर रहा था?
तंग नहीं कर रहे थे. ईडी वाले एक आध दूसरा जो भाई साहब ने नाम लिया है वो हो सकते हैं, लेकिन हम लोग का भी 50 है, यहाँ 50 एमएलए है, उसमें से सेना के 41 है और बाकी 9 अपक्ष है. तो ईडी फड़ी इनके पीछे कोई, हमारे पीछे कोई है ही नहीं. हम लोग जो है, हमारा जिस मतदार ने हमको चुन के दिया है, उनकी बड़ी बड़ी समस्या है, उनके तरफ कोई देखने नहीं आ रहे, कोई समस्या हल नहीं हो रहा है. हमारे जो
कौन काम नहीं होने दे रहा था आपका? कौन काम नहीं होने दे रहा था आपका?
गवर्नमेंट काम नहीं कर रहे थे, गवर्नमेंट काम नहीं कर रही थी. इसका मतलब ये होता है हर डिपार्टमेंट में काम करने वाले जो मिनिस्टर थे वो ना टाइम दे रहे थे, ना वो समस्या के तरफ देख रहे थे. एक कोई समस्या है जिसके लिए अगर मैं आप एग्जांपल अगर बोलेंगे बताने के लिए तो मैं बता सकता हूँ. मेरे यहाँ करीबन 5,000 फैमिली जैसी है, 10 साल से अपना घर छोड़ के बाहर है. उनके जो प्रोजेक्ट थे वो बंद हो गए, जिसको महाराष्ट्र शासन ने सम्मति दी है. हमने बताया कि भाई ये लोग आज आम लोग हैं, उनके पास कोई है ही नहीं, आज बहुत हालत खराब है, उनके लिए कुछ कीजिए. करने के लिए कोई तैयार नहीं. 50 लेटर दिया, उसका कोई जवाब नहीं, कोई सुनने के लिए तैयार नहीं. तो क्या करना चाहिए हम लोग?
किसका डिपार्टमेंट है? किसका डिपार्टमेंट?
ये तो महाड़ा मतलब राष्ट्रवादी के जो मिनिस्टर है जितेंद्र आव्हाड जी, उनका डिपार्टमेंट है.
सीमा मलिक, a charge being made against your senior minister Jitendra Awadh, who's close to the Pawars, that his department was not helping, not working, and that's why they had to rebel.
But why did it take 2.5 years to realize
There is
this?
no point in making charges from sitting there. They can come and
2.5 years,
discuss it here. I'm no one authorized to speak on this. The thing which I don't know, I would never comment on this. This I am telling you, but definitely I will request the respected leaders to come and discuss the things with them. That way. You can, like working for the Maharashtra is there.
सरवनकर जी, आपके साथ और कितने लोग जुड़े हुए हैं? सरवनकर जी, आपके साथ और कितने लोग जुड़े हुए हैं?
एमएलएस?
I don't know about this at all.
41 है
जी, एमएलएस. और कितने लोग टच में आपके संपर्क में?
नहीं, बाकी बच्चे कितने 8 बच्चे हैं, वो भी आ जाएंगे आजकल. हर आदमी, हर एमएलए परेशान है.
Savio, I can see the smile on your face, but just to make your comment about cats and tigers little parliamentary, I was watching the pictures coming off Mumbai, and the kind of support or the number of supporters that were there outside Eknath Shinde's residence when they came out in favor of their leader was much more than the number of Shiv Senics I have seen outside Matushri, outside Varsha, and generally in support of the Thackeray's. Swapnil, my last word to you. You see there from the vantage you have being in Mumbai that the Thackeray's might be in a situation where the Shiv Senics are not finding their leadership inspiring, and B, by when we should be having the floor test, given the fact that both the Shiv Sena representative and the NCP representative want it equally?
Well, Abhishek, as I told you, this is the floor test. I would expect it within, say, at best 2 weeks. I mean, I told you 8 days, but I can extend because then they'll have to take a decision, find out a day on which they want to hold the floor test. And secondly, as far as the leadership of whether Mr. Thackeray is inspiring or not, that is for them to look out and that is for them to consider. And as I had said the other day, that would be best, whatever the result of this entire fracas may be. I think Mr. Thackeray needs to just sort of isolate himself. The introspective man he is, the thinking man that he is, and the way he's come out very openly and spoken straight from the heart to the people at large, he just needs to go back and just think and ask himself some certain questions and then take a call accordingly whether as to what next step that he needs to take. But I think as far as this entire battle is concerned, it will only depend entirely on the floor strength, on the floor test, on the show of strength of the numbers. It will boil down to real numbers. This Supreme Court interregnum period going as far as the disqualification is concerned is just some sort of a hurdle. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day because there are people, and I don't understand why people do not look at the paragraph 4 of the 10th schedule of the Constitution, which clearly says that you can be 2/3 and merge with the party that you want to associate with, or alternatively, that part is very important, or alternatively form a new faction. So if these two, for 30-40 people decide to form a new faction, so be it. That doesn't stop them, as long as they are more than 2/3. So the defection law and the Supreme Court will be the best arbiter of that particular ruling. I mean, of that particular call, whether they've disqualified on the basis of anti-defection law or not. It's as simple as that.
Absolutely. According to you, Swapnil, it might be another fortnight before this drama comes or reaches to the floor of the House, and finally we know who has the number. So irrespective of whether this faction remains independent or merges with the BJP, which as of now might be a strategic move not to do so. What is important is that despite 3 speeches by Uddhav Thackeray, both cajoling and threatening, another minister from under his nose has gone and joined the rebel ranks in Guwahati today. Clearly indicative of where the wind is blowing. This story is going to continue to occupy news space over the next fortnight, as Swapnil suggested. But thank you so much, viewers, for joining us this Sunday evening.